Fantasy baseball analytics. We're going over hitting today. I have a lot to talk to you guys about. I have a 3 week old newborn, so it's been a little hard to do a video, but it has not stopped me from grinding because I got into TGFBI, an industry league draft, and it's a deep league. It's 15 teams, like 30 players. So I'm trying to have my stuff together this season, and I've been grinding. No stone left unturned. So we're going to swing back over to hitting. I've had a lot of observations. It's been a little bit of a chaotic player development of my sheet, but primarily I want to show you guys what's on my sheet, what's been lifted up. TGFBI, that draft starts February 28th, and then I'll be switching back. I'll be getting some salary caps in here. I'm not really ready to draft salary cap yet because I haven't done the necessary work on relievers. I went back over to hitters, and I have to be better. I have to be almost pure and perfect going through the first 20 players, 50 players, and I want to be deep. So I started going into a little bit more historical data, doing some 3 year averages, year to year, and just making sure that I've got everybody pushed up so that I'm still making quality picks in 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 rounds, that I'm hitting things off the bat. But obviously we start from the very top, and it's a tough season. So just a couple of things that I'm going to go over here a little bit. ADP stands for Average Draft Panic. So we're going to spend a little time. I've got the NFBC ADP that we can go through comparatively to what my sheet is. But primarily, I want to get you guys where my hitters are, at least for salary cap, who my purchasable players are, who I've had to push up. And then we're going to dig into some critical players in terms of Helium, because when we're drafting for next year's ADP, every year we've got to do this over again. The guys that we were high on, that we were getting very cheap last season, like Jordan and Austin Riley, they're not available to us, so we have to do it again. We have to unearth the young studs again, and I have those guys. I have those critical players for you. And where do we push them in? And then I have to try to figure out, well, how high up am I going to push my Helium? Want to go over some skills, but a little bit of a working meeting. I didn't open up a bunch of player sheets. I want to piece through. I want to show you when I'm really dissecting players, diving deep into the skills, what exactly I'm piecing apart. But let's start from the very top. I think we have to discuss the rules change. There's a couple little tweaks happening in baseball. So statistically, we're not going to get a lot of consistency from last season. They've expanded the bases by 4 inches. So each base, first base and second base, are a little bit bigger. Now, in a game of inches, getting 4 inches back is going to help some base runners. There's going to be a little bit more temptation to steal. MLB has been working with this in the minor leagues, trying to get more scoring, more fan involvement, make the game more exciting. So they're trying to encourage base running. So we've shortened the base paths a little bit, and that's going to make a difference. Nobody really knows yet. We're going to have to just speculate on what that's going to do. The other thing is that they're limiting how many times you can throw over to first. The rule, if you can throw twice, if you throw a third time, it's an automatic ball unless you pick the player off. So pitchers aren't going to be able to just hold the guy, just tire him out. You're seeing some really chunky leads from the speedsters, but pitchers are going over 3, 4, 5 times, using their legs up, getting them to dive, keeping that jump a little bit slower. So combining the shorter base paths with the limited throwovers, I think we are going to see suddenly a proliferation of speed, which we do need to see. So that speed scarcity has been making people nervous for a long time. It makes the 2020 players important. It makes anywhere you can get speed, it's really getting pushed up previously. But I think we're gonna see a lot of speed that we can get to, especially draft wise. There's some speed late that I can get to. So we're gonna get your fan graphs open. You're gonna get your baseball savant open. And I've been driving a third tool. I've been going into baseball reference, and I've been pushing baseball reference around to make sure that I'm really teasing out every possible thing that I can see. But just off the top, I'm going to go to Fangraphs. I just want to see last season, the stolen bases, what anyone did. We've got the leader at 35, Cedric Mullins 34, Edmund 32, Rosa Reyna 32, Bobby Witt 30, Ronald 29, Trey 27, Julio Rodriguez 25, Kyle Tucker 25. So 25 is a lot of steals. I mean, that's the eighth guy. Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Tucker 25, Simeon took 25, Adolis Garcia took 25. Rojas, Keener Falefa, Real Muto down in the 20s, and it starts to taper off. There's a good amount of 18 steals, but that's all you're gonna get. So it's very scarce, at least from a pure counting perspective compared to power. But I believe that we're gonna see more speed there. Where we go for speed is over to Baseball Savant. Let's get over to a little bit of pure speed. You go to the leaderboards. Under running, you have sprint speed. So at least check the sprint speed to see exactly who has the wheels, because I think you're going to see it multiply out. The high-end speed guys probably will be seeing more green lights. They will be converting more saves because that distance is a little shorter. And it may not seem like much, a couple, 2 inches, 3 inches, but for a guy to feel that he's closer mentally is going to give him some confidence. I don't know exactly how they're timing their strides out, getting them into that dive, and on the bang plays, maybe beating out some tags, maybe making catchers have to rush throws a little bit. Top of the sprint speed list at 30.7 feet per second, a new guy, and this a lot of new players, guys that came up late last season that I had to get to know in some more depth, like Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll? I have no idea, but here he is leading the sprint speed leaderboard at 30.7. This guy is absolute gas on the bases. Bubba Thompson, Jose Siri, Bobby Witt Jr., 30.4 on sprint speed per second. Trey Turner, 30.3. So, Trey Turner alert is now no longer even the fastest guy on the field. We have Bobby Witt Jr. and Corbin Carroll with Trey Turner like speed. So both of those guys potentially going over 30 steals. If they could get on base, is there a conversation for 40? I'm not sure, but probably a 30 steal threat. I'm going to read all these guys, even though we're not drafting the ones with no names. Mitchell Garrett, Tim LeCastro, Winton Bernard, Jorge Mateo did get some bases. Another new name, Jake McCarthy on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Came up at the end of last season, had a good season. That's a lot of speed for Jake McCarthy. Eli White, O'Neal Cruz, 29.9. At 6'7", O'Neal Cruz, total gas on the bases. Ruiz Estuary, Joe Adell, Julio Rodriguez, 29.8. Pure raw speed that those bases are coming back. I think Julio stole like 26 last season. So, there's another guy looking at potential 30. Tyler O'Neill, who totally busted last season, 29.8. Derek Hill, Nate Eaton, John Bertie. Who on here gets old school? Garrett Hampson. Ahmed Rosario, 29.5. He doesn't take a lot of bases for how fast he is. Leody Taveras. Buddy Kennedy, here's Michael Harris II, 29.4. Down here, Jeremy Pena, 29.4. Mike Trout, 29.4, who doesn't run as much. What's my line for when the sprint speed? 29.3 for Miles Straw. So 29 and a decimal is really good raw speed. Jazz Chisholm, Andres Gimenez, Andrew Velasquez. Who else? Harrison Bader on the Yanks, 29.1. Nico Horner has 29. Byron Buxton, 29.1. We know Byron's taking bases, so you're seeing that 29 and push it up is going to have a lot of speed. CJ Abrams, the youngster, 29 flat. Another popular name in here, Lewis Brinson. Andrew McCutcheon's still pushing 28.9. So at 28 and change, it starts to slow down for me a little bit. Marcus Simeon took 25 last year at 28.9. A little bit of the difference there is that raw speed versus that heady speed. The way to steal the base the right way. Timing pitchers release, pitchers windups. Gavin Lux is on here. Trent Grisham, Josh Lowe. So I'm not going to go much. Randy Rosarena took 25. He's got 28.8 sprint speed. Brandon Nimmo, I don't see taking any bases, 28.7. Whit Merrifield down to 28.7. Teoscar Hernandez, 28.6. But it starts to slow down. Ronald on the bad knee, 28.5. Still took his 20-something bases. Jose Ramirez down there at 28.5. Cedric Mullins took bases with a 28.4. So if Ced can do it at 28.4, the guys at 29 plus obviously are very quick and are going to be threats to take a lot of bases. The names that really jump out to me, who we will swing back through, are at the top of the list there. This Corbin Carroll. Bobby Witt is going to be hard to get. Jake McCarthy is going to go a little later. O'Neal Cruz is not already in the discussion as a first-round player, but obviously that's going to be the kind of upside that we need to own a lot of in case he breaks out with his phenomenal tools, in case he goes 30-30 on us, 35-35 on us. Joe Adell, if the skills ever mature, will he be able to give us some power speed combinations? So that's where we're peaking at raw speed. What I'm seeing from a draft perspective is we're in last year's mentality. We're in scarce speed. We're pushing guys up because they did 18 bases because they took 22 bases last season, and we're getting because we're desperate for that speed. But if the speed is more prevalent, more available to us, then I don't necessarily have to force it. So I went in just mentally on the sheet. I want the best hitters in the game. I want to stick to who I need the home runs. Oh, there's a lot of power. Well, there's not a lot of 45 home run power. There's not a lot of high 30s power. I mean, let's go back over. I mean, when people say there's a lot of power, there's not a lot of power with average. A lot of power with 100 counting stats. So, home run wise, Judge went for 62. Kyle Schwarber went for 46. Pete Alonso 40. Riley 38. Yordan 37. Christian Walker 36. Goldschmidt, Betts, Rowdy, Shohei, Matt Olson 34. I mean, I don't have to read the rest of them here to you. Seager, Santander, Machado, Guerrero, Rizzo, Adames, Eugenio, and Nolan, Rhys Hoskins. That's it for 30. Then it's 20s. Sure, there's a lot of 20 home run power, but 20 doesn't excite me. 22, 25, that's power. It's going to mix in. But the rest of the profile is going to have to be there for me to let someone get in there and churn it out. So I want that league-winning outlier, bonkers power, and RBI. So my sheet this season, I'm drafting speed. We're drafting speed every season. I'm just not necessarily going to overcommit to first round, second round speed because I need that. I need that league winning power, that outlier power. So jumping right over to my sheet. I'm crossing so many metrics. We're going to do some advanced searches here. The top 4 guys, I can't go into every list. Eventually, I have to say, okay, put these guys up. Stop thinking someone's going to jump over them. Number 1, Aaron Judge. I don't have a hard time with that. Aaron Judge from last season. Why would it not happen again? 62 home runs, elite exit velocities on barrels, crushing balls in the heart. I'm just going to go back to Aaron Judge. I don't want to complicate it much more than that. I don't think you can go wrong there. Was it a contract year? I mean, he's not just going to stop playing. I mean, he has his personal competitiveness inside him. Number 2, Yordan Alvarez. These could switch. I mean, Yordan is a little bit younger. Yordan has a little bit better plate discipline. But Yordan is a total masher. I'm not going deeper than 1-2 with these guys because I want to lead in power and RBI and just see guys that I know will absolutely hit. Speed does come into my mind. The next 2 players, I have Ronald Acuna and Shohei Ohtani. This is tough in here, guys. I mean, because I could go Ronald 1. I think that Ronald comes back. Ronald plays 160 next season. Ronald is the number 1 overall player next season. Ronald goes 40-40. Ronald's going 1 next season. There's not a lot of guys who have 35-35. The power lagged a little bit, probably because Ronald didn't have his legs, but he's took all the bases we needed. The exit velocities are there. He's going to be healthy. He's young enough. I just, you know where we are with Ronald. He probably is one. So if you have to flip flop those guys, I'm okay. And then there's Shohei. Depending on how you're using Shohei, NFBC is going to have him flip hitter pitcher. This is Shohei the batter that I have here. I mean, Shohei the pitcher is also elite, but I'm dealing with him a little bit differently for salary caps in case I have to purchase separate players. But I can't get past those four guys as my 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, it starts to get a little bit, I don't. It depends on what you like. It depends on the kind of flavor that you like. But I've got a couple names just historically for me to just be right. Who could burst out and give me another top five showing? I got Juan Soto there. I just think young Juan, people can say what they want about that launch angle. The plate discipline is phenomenal. Year after year, totally dominant batter. I know I'm gonna get average. I know I'm gonna get certain things from Juan, and I'm not gonna penalize Juan for speed. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna you don't have speed hate because I'm pushing up power here, and I don't think I can go much further. Bryce would be here, but Bryce is out with the UCL, so we're not gonna see Bryce until maybe late. I'm not really thinking about him. I'm not concerned about getting him because if I don't see him till the All Star break, it's just I'm sorry, Bryce, but he just wore himself down. But his counterpart, his alter ego, Mike Trout. I don't think a Mike Trout. I mean, how old is Mikey here? I mean, I just don't think we're ready to tell Mike Trout that he's done. I mean, if we're hype on Freddie Freeman, if we're hype on Paul Goldschmidt, these guys are doing it 33, 35, so many years old. We got him kind of cheap. I mean, Mike Trout was his age 30 season last season. He hit 40 home runs. I mean, you guys are going to tell me that Mike is done? He hit 283. So sure, the bases are gone. He's not running the way he used to, but maybe he gets tempted with the new rules. We don't know. We don't know if Mike gives you 10. What if he goes 45 and 10? So I'm just gonna put Mike Trout up there because I don't know where else to put him. I don't think you can keep waiting and just ignoring Mike Trout for these other players. But then here's where it starts to get cute. I am on Austin Riley. I like Austin Riley's entire approach. The thing that's kind of interesting about Austin as I jump around, because it's just metrics from all over the place, but if you went to Baseball Savant, batting, expected percentile rankings, Austin neither doesn't walk well, doesn't strike out well. So if you get a little bit of concern, I have an Austin Riley here. He's ninth in xWOBA. He has a 30 percentile ranking for his Ks, a 49% for his walk. So he does neither of those, but he's so strong with the bat. He just swings that toothpick so effectively with home runs. I think that the lineup is juiced with Michael Harris in there. He's got Swolson. Don't forget about Albies. He didn't just become a bum because he had a down season. Harris too. So Austin Riley's going to be in the thick of it, making a lot of quality contact. I like him there. But again, some of these can flip. If I don't want to get old with Mike Trout, if I don't want that low launch angle with Soto, I can think about Austin and obviously Vlad Guerrero Jr. I'm not leaving the train. You're a little disappointed in how he played last season. Vlad Guerrero Jr., are you kidding me? Amazing bat-to-ball skills, only going to get better. For me, we haven't seen the end of Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s progression because I think we were contemplating Vlad top 5 last season. I'm not going to forget about that. So I have Vlad there, and those pieces could kind of jump a little bit. I'm 8 players in. It gets a little mishmashy here, and I'm going to mention a newborn baby boy, Trey, named him Trey, obviously, Trea, the same way. A little cluster of players here that you got to shuffle around. I got a little ageist because Freddie Freeman and Paul Goldschmidt had great seasons last season. Goldschmidt benefited from Arenado coming over. Freddie Freeman capitalized on the lineup in Los Angeles. But they're both aging a little bit. I think that Paul's home run total may be a little bit of an anomaly for him because he's not usually going over 30. Freddie is more of a contact, choke up on 2 strikes kind of guy, but they're going to generate a ton of run and RBI. They're both heady. They're both a little bit quick. They're kind of shifty, big shifty out there. So so I see what they did last season. I don't know if I want to live there. You also have to consider Mookie Betts year after year, great contact, flashed a little power last season. You never know what you're going to get from Mook, but it's hard to ignore Mookie for too many picks in the first round before I introduce probably my other five options here. I mean, how can I be eight players in and not say Trey Turner? So maybe you got Trey there. I know the suspension and the shoulder surgery and the wrist, but Fernando Tatis Jr., I'm not going much further. Fernando's another one. Even with missing a couple weeks, if I think of that as like an IL stint to start the season, Fernando Tatis could go 35-35 on you, 35-35, 275, and you're going to see Fernando the number one overall player. Because I know from a season ago it's between Acuna and Tatis, and Tatis is a little bit noisier, maybe because of that 6'3 status, just because he's a little bit bigger. But Tatis could go one. So we don't want to go too much deeper. Can you take Tatis over Austin Riley? Sure. Tatis over Trout? Probably. I mean, it's how much you want to ding him for missing those couple weeks. But I'm sorry to say, a guy pulls a hammy and he's missing 3 weeks. A hit by pitch and he's going to take an IL stint. So IL stints can happen anytime. For Tatis to get out of the way, you'll have him for the rest of the season. You'll have him for your playoff run. So this thing about trying to deduct points and counting stats for Fernando, I'm just not thinking of it like that. I'm almost just writing off the suspension. I have no problem with him starting the season April 20th or 30th, whatever it is, and then having my Fernando Tatis Jr. in there with outfield eligibility likely as he's going to bounce around. So that's where, I'm in my top 10, top 15, and I got to name some other players here that we can't miss out on. The raw power is coming from Pete Alonso and Matt Swolson. Pete Alonso doing it with home runs, lineup improved, tremendous power, 100 plus RBI for sure, 30 bombs for sure. I like Pete at the first base. I can live with Pete. I don't, when we're looking at salary cap, guys I can purchase, guys I'm willing to spend money on, Pete is one of them at first base. And Matt Olson, I'm going to reach into the bag of old fantasy wives' tales, and that Matt was getting it going. I loved when Matt left Oakland, what he had going as I was like, Matt took the jump. But then Matt got traded to Atlanta. Why didn't it translate immediately? The wives' tale is the batter's eye. Just whatever it is behind the pitcher in the field, that they're seeing the ball against that backdrop. And I think that we could see Matt Olson take a little bit of a step forward because he had a full season to literally adjust his eye to the new field in Atlanta. And maybe we see some of that pure power kind of step forward to the next level. So I got Matt Olson, I think, is an important piece not to forget at 1B if you're going to switch in some utility power. Rafael Devers, there's been some bigger seasons, some not as big seasons, but he can't be forgotten for his age, for hitting in Boston. What kind of season are we going to get? Is it a little short? I don't know how athletic he is. He's not necessarily taking bases, but the hard hit is just so much over and over again, and age-wise, I'm not letting Rafael slip that deep. And then I kind of have my hand force here. I'm weird on Bo Bichette, but I'm going to have to throw Bo Bichette in here. Rudy Gamble from Razzball Podcast loves him some Bo Bichette. The average is going to be there. You saw Bo said, I want to steal more bases this season. So maybe that's going to happen. And this is where it's just something on Bo. You can't just trust Roto World anymore, or CBS purchased it, whatever they call it. But Roto, they're like, Bo Bichette certainly has the wheels to steal more bases. And I'm like, but does he though? But does he? Because you can go to, people will just say stuff. Bo Bichette's percentile ranking speed, 83 in 2019 when he came in, 70 in 2020, 74 in 2021. I don't know if he was injured, but his sprint speed is 52 percentile ranking. So he has average speed. you can't just trust Roto World to say certainly has the speed. He's not on the speed leaderboard. His name wasn't up there. He's probably down there where the rest of the other average players are. But Bo Bichette has high average. We're going to get into more plate discipline. I just went back to basics on plate discipline. I will jump over to Fangraphs plate discipline and compare O-swing, zone contact, swinging strike. Jump over to Baseball Savant, same player. Look at the zone contact, the outside the zone swing, and the whiff, and kind of just see how aggressive these players are. Bo Bichette is aggressive, but he makes very good contact. So they're letting him swing away. So we're out of that tier. We're out of that cluster. 5, 6, 14, 15 players. Okay. I haven't named certain guys. We talked Freddie and Goldschmidt, who I don't want to draft. Jose Ramirez, who I don't know what my problem is, but I just don't want to draft. I mean, Jose Ramirez, they're going to say he had surgery to repair a ligament tear in his thumb. And we're going to give him the excuse that his second half wasn't great because he's playing through the thumb, but he had a surgery and now he's magically better. I don't think so. I've tore a thumb ligament before and it didn't heal right. It's never really the same, to be honest. How long did it take to heal? A couple years probably. I mean, you can still feel it from time to time. And Jose may have, the surgery went great. You always say that. If you come out of the surgery alive, then it was a great surgery. It was a success. How well healed is it? It feels good right now. We'll see how it feels when he's taking cuts at 95-mile-an-hour fastballs all week long, holding the bat in his hand. So I'm nervous about the thumb. I'm not excited for the thumb. He said, "Whoa, Jay Lee, well, why are you dinging Jose and not Tatis? Tatis coming off the shoulder and his injuries." Well, Tatis is like 7 years younger, is part of it. So, but Jose Ramirez, at some point, he has to go on the list. Okay, I'll put him there. Manny Machado, who we know every year is hitting, is in a good lineup in San Diego. Okay, he's got to be put in here somewhere. Will they be drafted by me? I don't know, because I need a little bit more excitement, but I don't want to disrespect these guys who are just pure players. If I'm in this long, slow snake, and some of these guys drop, I have to make sure that I give credit to some of the veterans where credit is due. And our boy again, Kyle Schwarber. I mean, what does the guy have to do to get some respect? Kyle Schwarber, I don't even think I need to look at the exact numbers. He had 46 home runs. That's not 35 home runs. That's plus power from Kyle. He stole 10 bases. We don't know how. He got 10 bases. And people are enamored with Kyle Schwarber. We don't think he can do it. Sure, Kyle is a little bit of a batting average risk. He has a little bit of an odd approach. He's hacking at things. Let's see if I can get over here to Kyle. I'm going to go to Kyle's percentile rankings profile. So Kyle can take a walk, but Kyle also has a lot of swing and miss in his game. So he is swinging for the absolute fences when he gets after it. You can see right there the flaws in his game. His XBA is a 31. That's low. That's a little bit droughts, but it's not unplayable. Byron Buxton's is 41, and I'm in love with that. Giancarlo's is 37. We're not getting off that. Rizzo was 35. He had a good season. It's Max Muncy at a 5 on the expected batting average. That's terrible. Eugenio Suarez a 12. That was terrible. Eugenio Suarez carried as a 5. Totally terrible. But when we get back up to, and Schwarber is 8th in xWOBA. The barrels, the exit velocity, the max exit velocity, the hard hit, it's all there. His walk is a 94. So that shows that Kyle is able to lay off stuff and say, come on, you got to test me. I'm not swinging at that. They have to come in. If he hacks over something, Kyle's not getting cheated on a swing. Oh, it's off speed. He's not slowing his approach. He's not changing the swing plane. He's taking massive hacks. So I have Kyle Schwarber way, way up. The interesting names, I'm not going to go. You're like, Jay Lee, where are the names? So I jump over to outfield, and I think the other hitters that can't be denied here. This cluster of outfielders. Adolis Garcia, power and speed. We're not going to give him any 25-25. He shows up on the barrel numbers. Anthony Santander shows up. Randy Arozarena, Teoscar Hernandez, Kyle Tucker, Byron Buxton. Finally, I said Julio Rodriguez and Eloy Jimenez. I mean, so this is 10 guys we really have to piece apart. And you'll see why I'm referring to ADP as average draft panic. Because who we wanted last season, they are all going in the first round just off of total hype. I'm not necessarily seeing the support. Let's go into an advanced search here. Baseball Savant, you got to go to the search page, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking for here. Player type, go to batter, attack zones, let's go to the heart, quality of contact, barrels, search. So what we isolated here is who's barreling balls in the heart of the plate. Aaron Judge, 71 barrels. 2.4 is the rate. Jordan, 50. Shohei, 48. Austin Riley, 46. Corey Seager, 42. Vlad, 41. So you see where my head is at right now. I'm going off the skills. I'm not spending time in the projections. Let me just take a little detour. I jump over to Sleeper in the Bust. And Paul Sporer is going through his outfield list, and he has like a magic crystal ball for guys' injuries. This guy's only going to play 130, so I project him here, and he's going to get dinged up and miss 2 weeks. I mean, I can't get into that game predicting who's going to get hurt to discount value. Rudy Gamble over on Razzball Podcast, he says the same thing. Everybody could get hurt. Everybody could get injured. So here's two experts, totally different approaches. Rudy going with just health is all the same. Paul checking on health. So I'm not really going to play that game with health. I'm just going to go to pure skills because I leave what Rudy does. Rudy wants to play projections. I've got this guy hitting this average. I've got this guy. And Rudy has very sound analysis of launch angles and year-to-year averages, historical data. He's got a really good feel for players. But I'm not really going to sit here and tease apart, well, I think Judge is going to hit 42 or 35. I mean, I really don't care. I'm looking at who is barreling balls over the heart of the plate. Corey Seager, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Willie Adames, Christian Walker, Ryan Mountcastle, Kyle Schwarber, Teoscar Hernandez, Taylor Ward. So right off the bat, I have to have a new respect for Christian Walker. I mean, I don't like Christian Walker, 30-31, but the man had 40 barrels over the heart of the plate. I'm going to have to respect that. He's going to have to be in my list. Taylor Ward, 38 barrels. Kyle Tucker, 38 barrels. So Kyle Tucker going in the first round, I mean, there's 13 other guys who barreled more balls in the heart of the plate. Matt Olson, 37. Seth Brown, Luke Voigt, Mookie Betts, 36. Jose Abreu, 35. Adolis, 35. Reese, Dansby, Giancarlo, Jeremy Pena, surprise, Mike Trout, 33, Nathaniel Lowe. So if I'm going to start pushing guys up, it's over here in the heart. But let's check out, that's the heart. Let's go up to the attack zone, hit clear, click on shadow, the ring that's just a little bit further off of the plate. Let's see who's hitting barrels in the shadow. So we can see right away that number drops way down who can go out and get it. But it's Aaron Judge with 35. Schwarber, 35. So is Schwarber not an elite hitter? Yordan Alvarez, Mike Trout, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Shohei, Devers, Bichette, Eugenio at 21. So this really thins out. I mean, only 21 barrels. Rowdy, Mountcastle, Julio Rodriguez with 20. Juan Soto with 20. These are guys that can take not premium pitches and still barrel them. So we have to understand them as hitters. Adolis Garcia, Freddie, Anthony Santana, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Paul Goldschmidt. So, and you could combine those. I could just go up to, we'll do it real quick. We'll go to the attack zone. We'll get that heart back in there. We'll combine so that we're not separating the two zones. Because what I found is in the shadow, there are no barrels are happening. So the only two places where you'll get barrels is in where the bat can barrel them up. And Judge is way at the top at 107. Jordan's at 78. Schwarber's at 75. Otani's at 71. I mean, where do you put Kyle Schwarber? Can you work around the average dip? Because if you want elite power, there's going to be Schwarber. If you're going to think that you're going to go buy first round speed and try to play catch up with power, someone else is going to have Schwarber. And worry and see how average shakes out later. So you're going to be chasing power a little bit there. Austin Riley, Olsen, Ryan Mountcastle at 61. I'm looking for Ryan to have a little bit of a breakout here. Vlad, Trout, Pete Alonso, Adolis Garcia, Christian Walker, Eugenio, who I don't like because of the average, Teoscar, Corey Seager, Juan, Rowdy Tellez, Willie Adames, Anthony Santander. So that's why those names, at least in outfield for me, will I have to piece this together a little bit? Will I have to put some of these guys into a better position? You know, if I was under the gun, who am I going to take? But before we get to salary cap and pricing, in Snake, I'm just going to get one pick at whoever's left, which is really going to help me determine my decision there. So those are my outfielders. Just because of who I read behind Freddie and Goldschmidt, I see a Nathaniel Lowe who doesn't really have power, but he had a good batting average second half of last season. Rhys Hoskins, Rowdy Tellez, Mountcastle. Do I have to deal with Marcus Semien, Dansby Swanson, Lindor, Seager, Adames? You know, these aren't guys that I must have, but they have to be up here getting some respect. And then we start to talk about the Helium. So before I switch over to breakout players who are going to make all the difference, who we have to have on our teams this season, there's really 4 critical guys. I'm going to break through them one by one, but I just want to get their names into the forefront of your mind. Vinny Pasquantino, Gunnar Henderson, Stephen Kwan, and there is a catcher, Alejandro Kirk. So, I mean, Vinny Pasquantino, I went through a list. I'm looking, like I said, everywhere, looking at everything. Some sleeper lists. I went player by player. Let's see who's going to break out. Break down the metrics. You'll see. We'll go to why in a second. I think he's going to break out massively. I'm saying that guy doesn't have it. That guy doesn't have it. So we'll use the up-and-coming players to dissect, to go into some individual metrics on who has it and who doesn't. But you know, pretty soon there, because I'm not excited for Correa and Bogarts. You know, Cedric Mullins, Brandon Lowe, second baseman from last season, Will Smith, obviously Michael Harris the second. You got Jazz Chisholm and Albies, Arenado. You have to have respect for. Where am I taking Luis Robert, who I'm gonna get maybe fairly cheap? I'm gonna be sticking there. So there's a lot of players to still sort that I'm pushing well up into my list. You know, Jose Altuve, I don't really draft that. And then it starts to really thin. So at least for salary cap, I'm taking all the assets that I want to get, and I'm pushing them up into the field, and we can look at prices after. But let's break down. Let me see one thing. Let's just touch on average draft panic. So this is the issue. This is what boggled my mind here. I go over to NFBC. I log in. I make an account because that's where we're holding the league. Oh, let's see what the ADP is. Number 1, Trey Turner. I love Trey. I mean, obviously we love Trey, but I think that fantasy owners are so rattled that they can't figure out what's what from year to year. It's just a pendulum of overreaction. So at this point, even though Trey is getting a little older, that the steals are coming down a little bit. He had a great, healthy season last season. People are like, I want the guaranteed value of Trey Turner. They don't know what else to do. They put him at 1. Ronald at 2. That's just our foresight, our knowing who Ronald is. Jose Ramirez at 3. I mean, my God, the love affair with Jose Ramirez continues. I can't believe it. Julio Rodriguez at 4. Wow. In front of Aaron Judge at 5. Kyle Tucker 6, Bobby Witt 7. Oh my God! I mean, good seasons. Honestly, on Kyle Tucker, I thought he was good. I thought it was power speed, but I think we saw the best of Kyle. I don't think that Kyle is gonna reach into the bag and go 30-30. I mean, I think Kyle is what he was last season, but to go sixth, we haven't even said. I mean, know your Don because of the speed issue. So the speed obsession is really strong here. Let's just go to Julio. So obviously Julio, I want to come around. I mean, beside after ADP average draft panic is ADP average draft projection, it will start to infiltrate back into you and say, maybe I have to put Julio Rodriguez at 4. I mean, I feel the pressure. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be able to get him if he's going 4. But what did Julio do? 22 years old, 6'3". I'm on his Fangraphs. It's a 65 future value player. He's got 60 speed now, projected to slow to a 50, 70 game power, 70 raw power. I like going to Fangraphs. Let's just show the full analysis here. You've got his minor league seasons opened up. One thing we love to see is rookie ball, A, A+, double A, MLB, bing, 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 rush him to the leagues, too good for the minors. From 2018, he breaks into the league at 2022, and he goes 28 home runs, 84 runs, 75 RBI, 25 bases, a K rate of 25.9%. He had a pretty chunky BABIP of a 345 for a 284, a 146 WRC plus. So sure, in the minor leagues where he didn't play that much, he had, 10 home runs here, 16 there, but he showed he can do it in the bigs. The sophomore slump, I think so. I think so. I've fallen victim to it because I'm drafting young upside year over year over year. And so when I see a guy like Julio and getting tantalized, 28, 25, like, oh my God, he's going to go 35 next season. Well, the other thing that happens is he's going to get scouted. Pitchers aren't just going to challenge him with fastballs. He's going to have to perform when he's the main guy on the report. Hey, let's not let Julio beat us next season. Let's go into some of the underlying metrics. I like to look at the bat. What we love here is an exit velocity of 92. The launch angle is a 10. That's not phenomenal. We want 12, 15 for more pure elevation. But the hard hit is there, 50%. Just come down to his hard, 34%. The fly ball rate, 35. I mean, not 40, but decent. I want to go to the plate discipline. The Fangraphs plate discipline, O-swing 37%. That's a lot of swinging outside the zone. That's not tidy. We want to be sub 30. Really elite O-swings get down into the low 20s. Maybe we'll see some 2021. So he's swinging at a lot of stuff. That's going to be an exploitable feature for Julio. I'm not going to trash Julio, but I just wonder, can I take him with the 4th pick? Because I'm tantalized by young skills. Maybe I'm trying to tell myself. The zone contact, 81%. 81 is fringe, the bottom that I can handle. We're seeing, Bichette with an 88, other guys 85, 86, 87. So the zone contact is decent. And the swinging strike at 14.4%. That's high. That's a lot of swinging strike. I mean, 12 is the line. Think of it in reverse. If the pitchers, 14 would be elite. That's Julio swinging out a lot of stuff. So, jumping over to his baseball savant here. Let's see if I can get him up real quick. I see something maybe exploitable in a Julio. The sprint speed is elite, 98 percentile. So he's there. We talked about the exit velocities. We can look at his percentile rankings. What's the issue? He doesn't K. He Ks a lot and he doesn't walk. The XBA is a 60. The XOBP is a 51. The plate discipline on Baseball Savant has him as an 80 zone contact, a 33.5 chase with a 30.4 whiff. That's the line of the ace archetype. So pitchers are having their way with him. Could pitchers push back and eat into some Julio, or does Julio adjust and take another step forward? That's yet to be determined. So I just shown a little bit of caution, and that's how we dig into some of these guys. Let me go over and get some excitement. This is what I want to talk about. Vinny Pasquantino, because I have no idea about Vinny Pasquantino. I don't know. Vinny Pasquantino. I'm going to keep saying it because we have to start drafting it. 6'4", 25 years old, a 50 future value. They have him as a 55 to 60 hit tool, 55 game power, 50 raw power, no speed. Okay. And I see a Vinny here, and I'm looking at him. Well, let's see what happened with the minor league track record. Rookie A, double A, triple A, boom, he's up. MLB. Minor league seasons, he walked 11% to 16. Then in single A, he walked 12% to 13 K rate. And double A, he walked 13% and he struck out only 11%. And triple A, where he hit 18 bombs, he went 13% walk to a 12.5% K rate. So this is Juan Soto-y territory. Someone who is walking more than they strike out. I'm like, what is going on with Vinny Pasquantino here? He comes up to the league, just 298 plate appearances, only 10 home runs, but he walked 11% against 11.4 K percentage for a 137 WRC plus. Vinny Pasquantino has elite plate discipline. Projections show a guy only touching 21, 16, 18, 22 home runs. Like, wow, they're pretty down on his power. Let's see, does he have tools for raw power? Well, he's got a 91.2 exit velocity. That's fine. That's legit. Up over 90, 91 is fine. The launch angle is 12. That's 12. Julio's at 10. So the launch angle has some loft to it. The hard hit is good. What's the fly ball rate? A 40%. So he's lofting the ball. The plate discipline. Look at this guy. 28.9 O swing. Tighty. Zone contact 92? That's ridiculous in the zone. That is so much bat to ball. A swinging strike of only 6.6%. Vinny Pasquantino is going to be nice. I mean, unless this is all smoke and mirrors and he has a big hole in his swing that suddenly is going to get figured out. I mean, this is a guy, bing, 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 bing to the league. Might not have been scouted correctly. He's big, 6'4", 245. I like that. So where is Vinny for me in the rankings? He's anywhere you don't want those other first basemen. I mean, Vlad, Pete, Matt, Vinny, Vinny over Ryan Mountcastle, maybe Andrew Vaughn, Jose Abreu, Christian Walker. I don't know. Maybe Vinny P. So there are a lot of things that I see there. Let's see. I mean, you got to do him right. You got to jump over to his StatCast. Let's see how it looks on his StatCast here. Vinny Pasquantino, 25 years old. I mean, you got a picture of him there. He's a thick guy. Max exit velocity, 87%. I just want to see the plate discipline so I get it. Zone contact, 90. Chase, only 26. Whiff, only 15. I mean, they don't have a percentile ratings for him because he didn't qualify. There's going to be no speed. But this man can swing the bat. I think you should have all the confidence in the world. As soon as something dries up, if you're going to jump a player, if you want to put some extra talent on your bench, I would definitely put him in there. Another guy here, another very interesting, just where the metrics jump out. Steven Kwan. Let's see what you've been doing here, Steven. I was following my players. I didn't even know Steven Kwan was in the league last season, to be honest. But when I go back and observe the whole topography of the league, I go, well, let's see. Some guys jump out. Steven Kwan, 50 future value. Hit tool, 70 now. Future, 80. What? Game power, 35. Raw power, 30. Speed, 60. Field, 60, 70. Okay, so we've got a guy with an 80 hit tool and a 60 speed. He came up for a quick cup last season. No, he was up. He got 147 games, 638 plate appearances, 6 home runs, not nothing, 19 stolen bases. Look at this minor league. Rookie, A, high A, double A, triple A, send him up. Walk rate, 18% walk rate to 6K. In low A, he went 14% to 14%. In double A, he went 10% walk rate to a 10% K rate. In triple A, dominated pitchers for 11% walk rate, struck out only 6% of the time for a 311 average. Comes up last season, walked 9.7%, struck out 9.4%, 323 BABIP for a 298 average. Steven Kwan is a magician with the bat. I mean, what kind of contact is that? This is a 300 hitter right out of the gates. He took 19 bases. This is where it just gets stupid. So the projections, they don't have enough history. They're conservative projections. How can the guy take 19 bases last season and we have the bat ATC Steamer have him only at 14, 13, 16, 19 stolen bases? Steven Kwan's going to be on the base. He's going to be on first a lot. He's going to be on first constantly with that kind of batting average. He's probably going to take 30 bases. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have to worry. I can be comfortable. I can take Aaron or I can take Jordan with a top 5 pick, and I can just take Steven Kwan, who nobody is even awake to, who they have no idea what this guy is even doing. WRC plus is over his career. 171, 156, 115, 159, 144, 124. He's in the bigs. He's in the bigs. There's no sub 100. There's no sub 100 WRC plus for him. How does he do it? Let's look at this plate discipline. O swing 23.3. My gosh, does not swing outside the zone. A zone contact of 95.4 and a swinging strike of only 3%. One of the elite contact bats in the league out of the gates. You say, well, Jay Lee's only going to have contact. Let's look. The exit velocity, it's trash. It's 85. The max exit is 107, but at least the launch angle, 11.8, coming up on 12%. That's why you see that he did poke out. He did poke 6 out last season. Could he poke out another 10, 12? I think so, even though he's more of a slap hitter, so that's fine. I just think Steven Kwan, very important guy to keep your eye on next season. I think probably a must-have player because all of our guys from last season are going in the first round. So we're not going to be able to get any of them. We have to find the new ones. I'm going to go to another one here. The Gunner. Gunnar Henderson. Let's bring him up. Gunnar Henderson starting off with third base eligibility. Gonna move over to shortstop in season. This is a 65 future value player. 45 hit tool now, 70 game power, 70 raw power in the future with some speed. So Gunnar is projecting 5 tool stud. 21 years old, 6'2", prototype. I like a lot of things I see about Gunnar, but some things really jump out. Let's look at the minor league trajectory. 2019 rookie A, double A, triple A, boom, and he's up. Little bit more swing and miss in his game. He walked, you see him here in double A. He walked 19% of the time, struck out only 18% for 176 WRC plus. Went up to triple A, walk rate to 12, K rate to 26.4. So had to make a little adjustment to the off speed. That shows the off speed could get a little bit more swing and miss out of him. 374 BABIP for a 288 average. He comes up to the league. Just 34 games of 132 plate appearances. We see a guy hit 4 home runs. He's got a walk rate of 12, K rate of 25.8 for 125 WRC plus. So there's still some swing and miss in Gunner's game, but we dig in a little deeper to see who Gunner really is, and we start to get a little more excited. Gunnar Henderson has a 92.4 exit velocity. Woof. Have to love that. The launch angle, though, 2%. 2. That's terribly flat. That's garbage. So I don't know if it's really line drivey right now. The fly ball rate, 24%. That is so flat, so low. So I'm not sure. I'm going to be nervous there. But the plate discipline where I get pretty excited is the O swing is only 23.2%. Well below 30. Very mature approach for a 21-year-old. Zone contact 81.8. Okay, swinging strike was 10.3. So he's not going to go through those terrible droughts. Let me go over to his baseball savant. I'm going to highlight a little specialty tool for you guys right here. Something I kind of went back, like I said. So Gunnar Henderson on Baseball Savant. Right underneath his little picture, you see his swing through. You got his name there. Go under player apps. You have the pitch highlighter. Gunnar also has a 91% sprint speed. So he's toolsy. He's at least athletic, click on that pitch highlighter. This is pretty nice, pretty magical tool here for Gunnar Henderson. You can scroll down. They have his pitch type breakdown. They have his results. But then they have a little picture of what the barrel looks like. It's a hitter, and it's got the cone coming out. And if you run your mouse over barrels, you will highlight only the barrels themselves, and they will show you how Gunnar did. And Gunnar has a 106.7 exit velocity on barrels, which is a little bit special. So if he does barrel something up, which means that the launch angle is proper, he is hitting it pretty hard. So really, all of your players, don't be shy to go over to that pitch highlighter and just check on that exit velocity on barrels with a scroll over. That's a pretty quick way to do it without doing a custom search. So, but Gunnar's on everybody's radar. So it's not like we're going to be fooling anybody with a Gunnar Henderson. Who else do we want to check out? Let's get excited. My other kind of sleeper here on the plate discipline front, Alejandro Kirk, because I'm looking around, and let me get him going here. You know, everybody's got to do this. This would kind of be if there was an intermediate video that I couldn't get into, you guys, as we're slamming it in here today, is you got to take a tour around Roster Resource. So before we get into Alejandro, you go over to Fangraphs, go up to Roster Resource. It's in the bar there after Leaders Teams, and you have. I mean, if we're anyone who's serious is gonna scroll through a Roster Resource. Let me see if I can open link in next tab. Just clicking on the first team. So I want to tell you how I'm really picking apart Roster Resource. It's conservative. They have the batting order. So first thing I'm going to look at is player movement. Is the lineup stacked? Is the lineup thin? If there's going to be big RBI boon, run boon, it's going to be because the lineup is stacked. There was some player movement. Things are a little bit more neutral. You know, the Dodgers gave up a little talent. We don't have that amazing Toronto lineup when Simeon was there. So guys are shuffling around. But you get a sense of what the lineup is doing. Of course, I'm going to be looking at age. But if we go over to the 2023 projections are all the way to the right. These are conservative. So if Roster Resource says a guy's going to hit 280, you know, Vlad's going to hit 288. Here's Alejandro Kirk. They have him hitting 275 with 17 home runs. That's pretty substantial. I mean, they haven't projected to bat cleanup. I'm like, Alejandro Kirk, the catcher, batting cleanup? I mean, last time I checked, I was dealing with Danny Jansen over there. So I had to zoom in, 17 home runs. We want to see what that's really about. Dalton Varsho, they have projected for 30 home runs and 14 stolen bases. I'm not going to go into Dalton, but I'm not that high on Dalton because he's not that big. I don't know why that projection is so aggressive. But we have Alejandro Kirk in there. So at least look at your projections and see. And that's where I came on to Corbin Carroll, McCarthy, who we'll get to, because they're projected for this 20 steals. You know, here's Bichette, 17 steals, with Merrifield, 18 steals. So you can get a sense. Just they're doing the work for you so you don't miss anybody. The same thing would be had. We already had pitchers. Is to just jump down to the pitching staff. You'll see the projected starters because are you following every team in the league and who's going to start? All the player movement, and just take a peek at the innings pitched and the strikeouts. So, Alek Manoah projected for 199 innings, 194 strikeouts. That's about a K per nine. But there's the Gauss, 179 innings, 199 K. So you see the K per nine, at least conservatively, is up over it. So sometimes that'll identify kind of a fourth, fifth starter who's being slept on a little bit, who has some filth. Also the ERAs. If the ERA is over 4, the projection doesn't expect much from it. But if the ERA is, 3.8, they got Gaussman 3.6, those are guys that are going to keep the ERA down. So you got to take that tour around Roster Resource. I take that tour a few times, 2, 3, 4 times. Just keep touring it till you settle in on some players. But all right, Alejandro Kirk, 24 years old, 5'8", 245. This is a stocky gentleman. This is 55 hit tool now, 60 projected. A little bit of power, 45 game power, 50 raw power, 50 future value. Let's take a look at him. Minor league seasoned, rookie A+, MLB. Got a taste. They gave him a taste. Why did they give him that taste so fast? Because in rookie, he walked 13% of the time and struck out only 8. In A, he started walking 18% of the time. They put him up to high A. He went 13-11. They said, you know what, just send this guy up. They gave him a little taste back in AAA before he got called up for good in 2021. 8.9 walk rate, 16% K rate, a 375 BABIP for a 347 average. They said, you know, just bring him up. Last season, Alejandro Kirk, and I guess he did play in 2021, kind of slipped out of my radar because he had a terrible BABIP at 234. Brought that BABIP up to 299, and here he is walking 11.6% of the time to a 10.7 strikeouts for a 129 WRC plus. I mean, Alejandro Kirk is going to put bat to ball again. Unbelievable. Let's check the power. Is there going to be some power? I mean, the exit velocity, in 2020 he flashed at 95. In 2021 it was 92.3 with a 14% launch angle. Seemed to kind of cross over to more of a contact approach. Here he is on a 90.5 exit velocity with an 8 launch angle, flattened it out. But I don't know where Alejandro is going to level out. He might split the difference there and get back to an 11 or 12 as he gets more comfortable with pitchers. O swing 26%, zone contact 90.9% with a swinging strike of 5.8. Alejandro Kirk is a lock to put bat to ball, to be on bases, to drive in runs. I like him there. I like it because I need that catcher who isn't just going automatically off the top, who I can drop in there. So there's a couple pieces that I think are so important. We got some time for a couple more things here. Let's do. What did we do? We were gonna do O'Neal Cruz. So let's see what's happening here with O'Neal Cruz. And just as I'm listening to more stuff, I'm picking up little tidbits, keeping the ear to the ground, little rumor mill stuff. If you want to get excited for O'Neal Cruz, he hires his own batting coach. Credit to Rudy for digging up this information. He hires his own batting coach because he doesn't trust the Pittsburgh Pirates staff. And he goes on a tear for the last month of the season. Starts hitting for average, starts smoking baseballs. O'Neal Cruz, unicorn metrics. 24 years old, 6'7", 220. 6'7". Has a cannon, plays shortstop. The hit, they only have him at a 40. Game power 70, raw power 80. 60 speed now, projects to a 45 for a 60 future value. It's been legit since they scouted him. It took him a little bit to get up. He's 24 years old. You see he's kind of toiling in the minors a little bit. He had some pretty bad K rates, in A, 34.9%. You got to get that better. Went up to high A, 26, double A, 25. So there was some swing and miss. All of a sudden he started murdering triple A. 27% walk rate. He had it doesn't even make sense. At a 524 average, he had a ridiculous WRC plus. Same thing happened in rookie ball. Ridiculous. So last season, he goes 17 home runs, 10 bags, 7.8 walk rate, 34.9 K rate. Not good. 317 BABIP for a 233 average. So there is a world where O'Neal Cruz's average falls out. Exit velocity 92% on average, but a max exit of 122.4, which puts him in elite territory. The launch angle only an 83, and then we're going to see in the plate discipline where some of the problems are. 32% O swing, okay. Zone contact 82.7. I kind of 82.6. I kind of like that. Gives me more confidence in him just looking at that with the swinging strike of 13.7. So, I think if you're going to see a Cruz take a step forward and make the adjustment, this is a guy that can do it. I just want to show you that pitch highlighter to it, which is kind of nice here. So O'Neal Cruz on Baseball Savant, checking out that pitch highlighter. This is where a little bit of the magic is. Scrolling over the barrels. See, there he is 109.1 exit velocity on barrels. And that puts him in judging territory. Totally mashing baseballs. Let's see how he's got a sprint speed. It's elite, 98 percentile. Max exit velocity has him at the 100th percentile. So it is just, the percentile rankings leaderboard, he even has an arm strength of 97%. The XBA is 17. It's got to make you scared. The OBP is 14. It's terrible. The K rate is the worst. The walk rate, 46. Gives me some hope. Gives me some hope that he can cut down on those Ks. The plate discipline, 79.7. Zone contact. Chase is a 30. Whiff is a 35.4. So clearly there's some flaws. Clearly there's some flaws in his game and the plate discipline, but we don't know. We don't know what he's going to come back like next season. I don't think we can judge him. We don't. It's not good to just put some projections on there. Let me just go to Pitt. The other thing, what does the upside really represent, and how will teams be able to work around him? They have O'Neal Cruz maybe leading off, Brian Reynolds, Key Brian Hayes, G-Man Choi, Andrew McCutchen, Carl Santana. So the lineup is not as bad as I thought to drive him in. The projection has him at 23 home runs, 17 stolen bases, at 246 average. That's nonsense. I mean, really, O'Neal Cruz very well could be a top 10 player because he's in that category. He has the skills of a Tatis Jr., Ronald, Judge. He has Tatis speed with Judge power, but better health than Tatis. So, take a shot there. Be willing to jump in head first. Who else do I want to check out here? Corbin Carroll. Can we really do it with Corbin Carroll? Let's see. Let's break down a Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll, 22 years old, 5'10". Not a very big guy. Future value, 60 future value player. He's an 80-80 speed, which he should be as the fastest player in the league. The hit tool, they have him as a 55 hit tool, 60 future. A touch of power, going to gain power, 55 game power, 55 raw power projected. How did the minor leagues go? It was quick. It was rookie A, double A. He's up. 2019, 220. He's up. But last season, 27% K rate, 333 BABIP for a 260 average, a 130 WRC plus. I mean, he came up quick. So we kind of got to respect him. We're not going to look at him for power. Here's a slap hitting 85.8 exit velocity. That's nothing. That's no power. Launch angle's a 9, only had 4 barrels in a limited stint. The plate disc, 31% O swing, 81% zone contact, 11.4 swinging strike. So that's middle of the road. He's going to have to get on base to show me those wheels to really flash what I need to see from him. Let me see McCarthy here. Because a lot of guys on this Jake McCarthy, just hearing these things like, what, Jake? Okay, Jake. Jake is 25 years old, 6'2", more prototype. The future value is only a 40. They have him as a 70 sprint speed. The hit tool is not as good. We got excited because he stole 23 bags last season. The K rate was only 21%. 283 average. I mean, people are excited. If you go to Arizona's roster resource page, I think they have him hitting in the 3-hole. What's this power look like? 87 exit velocity is not good. Launch angle is an 8. That's not good. So it's not really true power that I'm seeing there. Is the plate disc? Can he get on base? 34% O swing, little high. Zone contact, 84.5. Swinging strike, 13.3%. Okay, Jake. Mr. Jake McCarthy. I mean, something to think about late if you're looking for speed. McCarthy. I'm trying to pull him up here on Baseball Savant. So I like the size from Jake. I mean, 25 years old. It took him a little bit to get it going here. Let's see what his plate discipline. So plate discipline on roster resource, 78% zone contact, not good. Chase 29, whiff 27. His percentile rankings, I mean, I see a speed guy. I see a 98 for his percentile on speed. The XBA at least is a 53, but there's no barreling. The Ks and the walks, how special. I mean, there's a lot of hype around this guy. And I'm not sure compared to Vinny Pasquantino. And let's just we got to check out Michael Harris. Because I'm like, Michael was amazing last season. And I'd like to own a lot more Michael Harris II here coming up in this season. Michael does a rookie A, 2019, rookie A, high A, double A, boom, bring him up. Goes 19 and 20 for home runs and stolen bases. The projections are so chilly on him. I mean, that was in 441 plate appearances. He was amazing. I mean, he's obviously going to go 25-25 this season. 4% walk rate, 24% K rate. But we have an exit velocity of 89. The launch angle, 4.5, is a little flat. The plate discipline, O-swing, 41%. Zone contact, 86%. Very good. Swinging strike, 13%. So, he's a free swinger. The only thing with the free swingers is that as we get the book comes out, that they do get tempted. 21 years old, 6 feet tall, 95% sprint speed. Let's just see his baseball savant has him with the 83% zone contact, but here's the blemish: 39% chase rate with a 28% whiff rate. So he's chasing, he's aggressive, but the XBA was an 82, the max exit is an 87. I mean, very nice little player, very nice. Could take a step forward. Let's see the exit velocity on barrels real quick. Go to his pitch highlighter. I mean, and this is how I'm grinding the guys. I'm looking at these walk to K to walk. Then I'm checking the contact to see what I feel is how frequent they're going to be making contact. Then we got to just check some of that exit velocity and launch angle. Because if a guy's putting it on the ground, I don't want to ding him. But the exit velocity on barrels is 107.1. Little bit more elite from Michael Harrison. That's why the bombs are happening. Because when he crushes baseballs, he does crush them pretty sweet there. So, that's the breakdown. I'm going to keep digging in here. I don't know how I'm going to do the TGFBI. I might want to share some of the picks. I'll iron out how high I am, how high I'm going to push up some of this helium, or go back to last season. I got to get my closers right. And maybe just to get right, I will jump into a salary cap before February 28th. So we'll probably have to set up a ladder, see if we can get some kind of nasty team here early in the preseason, just loaded with talent. Quick go over prices as I try to work through this sort of snaky one list. Let me see what else I was going to talk about here. Did we get it? Skill. I'm drafting skills over projections. That's my top 20. I dropped some helium in there. That's pretty much what I wanted to do here today. We had a question. Someone else asked me something else. I just remembered. Oh, if I can think of his name. I was gonna go over one pitcher because we had a question. You guys sent me a quick question on the. Let's see who did that person ask for. I want to make sure I can answer this one on the Stros. So if you guys want me to dig into a player, obviously I'm happy to do that real quick. Who was it? Oh, you want to know what? You want to know about that Christian Javier? There it is. Let's see him here. Why do I like Christian Javier? Before I get back, Christian Javier, he got paid, so the Astros like him. 6'1", 25 years old. He's working a four-seamer, a slider, a curveball, and a change. True four-pitch mix. Let's see if he's throwing each one legitimately. He is. So that's when you throw 105 to lefties, throwing curveballs to lefties. So he's using curveball and change to lefties, the slider to righties, working in, working away. We see a batting average on the four-seamer of a 183 batting average. He did give up 11 home runs, but if you can sit behind a .183 on your fastball and live there, you're looking good. The whiff rate on the fastball is 27.3. That's high on a fastball. So he's got some kind of movie fastball. It might rise or ride, but people are having trouble picking up that fastball. Bad fastballs will have whiff rates down in the 21 or 18 when guys have to work around it. The slider has a 39.4% whiff rate and for a 121 batting average. So the slider is plus, a nasty pitch. The curveball has a 30% whiff rate, and the changeup has a 26.7% whiff rate. So everything is, dare I say, everything is working. I mean, the changeup got hit to a 286 for the little bit that he threw it. We can jump down to the plate discipline to the archetype. I mean, this zone contact is only 76. I mean, that's a couple ticks better than even 79 that we could take, and that's probably because the fastball is working so well. The chase is a 26. The chase went 23, 24, 28. So he's getting better on that chase rate. He's learning where to put pitches to get guys to go. What if that chase rate takes another step to 30? The whiff rate already 30.4. So really, it's all right there. He's a little walky, but the K percentage has him in the 94 percentile. The xWOBA, the XBA, the xSlug were all phenomenal. And then we see some spins. He's got big curveball spin. Oh, I didn't check the spins. Yeah, I mean the slider at 2,600 RPMs, that's big spin. The curveball 2,880, a big spin. So those are nasty specialty pitches by Christian Javier, who will at least be a very looks like he's going to be a very good pitcher this season. So that's why I was getting into Javier. But my next steps, I'm going to get my closers right. The one thing that frustrates me a little bit, why you just go through outfielders and you go through first base and you go through them all separately, but they have to really interlace. I mean, it has to be somewhat of a one list. So as I push up the purchasable talent, I'll go do it to the closers. I'll do it to the relievers so that I'm deep in case somebody's going to steal a job or I just want to have good ratios. Do it to the catchers. And then some sort of evaluation of how, the most special players that I truly want, that I'm truly going to draft, they have to be up there first. If I don't like any more hitters, I don't want to get forced and say, oh, I'll do it. I'll go draft Reese Hoskins. No, I want to jump over to starting pitching. So really trying to interlace those into your list. That's the update right now for hitters. Leaving no stone unturned. Hit me up in the comments if you want me to check something out. We'll get after it later. Holla at your boy.